Welcome to Smalltalk Daily for Friday, May 22nd, 2009. This morning I thought I'd go through a little bit of what I had to do to deploy this new Web Velocity application that I pushed to our server. This is a simple search application where we've got a lot of audio and video that we pushed up on the server, and it's kind of distributed in a bunch of archive locations. And for instance, say you wanted to find all the podcasts or video that had to do with Cairo. So with this application you can do a search and come up with all of them and then say, oh, here's an introduction to chirographics. I can just go straight to it. I can look at the show notes. I can do searches by tag. So you can get straight to the content you're interested in without having to wade through the various archive pages. Kind of a useful application, I think. How did I get it from my development environment, which is here, and of course browse mediasearch.html. Here it is running on my local server. How did I get from here to running it actually on the server? Well, a couple of things. If I go back to this page here, you notice down at the bottom there is a configure option. If I select that, I'm going to get a configuration page, and the piece that's interesting to me is I want to take all of the file libraries, the thing that's serving the CSS, the things that are serving the JavaScript. I want to export those out to the file system and then push them to my server so that Apache can serve them instead of having the Seaside image, the Web Velocity image, serve them. So if I take these and hit write to disk, it'll drop those out. And if I bring this little window into view and do an ls-l on WA standard files, you'll notice that those were dropped out just now, 8:23 a.m., which is when I'm recording this. So that's fine, that dropped that stuff out. Small complication though, if you come back here into my development environment, and I want to show you something that's a useful tool to have if you're doing web development, that's Firebug. One of the things that comes up is you go here into head and you notice that down here at the bottom there's something that didn't show up on that configuration page, the theme library, and that's the library that takes this kind of tabular view and gives it its color and style. So I wanted to make sure that gets dropped out as well. And the question arises, well, I didn't see it on the configuration page, how do I do that? Well, it turns out that that's not terribly difficult. If you open up a workspace, which if you have your Web Velocity environment, you can do that from the console. You get a workspace and you write this kind of code in the workspace, theme library, default, deploy files. So if I do that, it'll drop that out to disk. And again, I can take that, push it to the server, put it in the right directory location, everything works fine. So you can either write a deployment script where you go through all of your file libraries, the ones that are coming from the system and the ones that you've created yourself, iterate through all of them and just have them send deploy files so that they all go out and then FTP the results up to your server, poof, done. Or you can go through this configuration page that I showed you a minute ago where, here it is, where I go and write to disk. So I can take some of these, but the problem here is you don't get all of them. So probably simpler for deployment terms, you just write yourself a little script, gather up all of the file libraries you're interested in, iterate over that collection, and just drop the files out. Then FTP them up to the server, and you're done. So that's about it for today. Until next time, have fun with Smalltalk.